what you're saying is that a lot of times we talk about reference architecture and stuff. Now we need to have something prescriptive for
Yes.
them to get an accelerated talk, right? Because where do you start? People get lost in this whole ocean. Where do you get started? So if there is something like a laser blueprint of these are the things that we need to do step 1, 2, or these are the things that you have to have a shall clause that you need to fulfill, then it becomes much easier because you don't really need to figure it out. Where do you start? Where do you go? Because it's pretty complex in the way that the whole organization is looking at different third-party vendor integrations and stuff like that. They have not owned it by themselves. So that's probably what you're saying. It's a more prescriptive for that people can take advantages from day one if they understand this better.
That is very true, Suresh. That's exactly what the intention is, to give the blueprint. And you actually use the word that BIAN says that is what they're trying to give. They're trying to give a blueprint to every bank. And they very recently, I also heard who's a practitioner of BIAN say that 80% of the 80% of what bank does, irrespective of which bank it is, exactly the same. How we do is it different, but what we do is exactly the same, irrespective of which bank you go. And that's what BIAN says, that yeah, if 80% we can standardize and 20% is our differentiator, then the industry can benefit a lot by having that standards in the industry. I'm gonna keep not talk much and let Nish provide his opinion as well.
The hard part with answering after Mamta is that there's not a lot to add, right? But I took a slightly different approach to this question, right? So I have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I set myself the challenge of, okay, can I explain what BIAN is to them, right? So I sat them down and I said, look, it's a framework that allows you to define a bank as a set of composable building blocks. And they said, oh, so it's like Lego. And I was like, you know what, that's perfect. I don't need to add anything more to it, right? But effectively, the way I like to describe it, it's a collection of business capabilities that are discrete, they are well defined, they deliver some business capability or value. And essentially BIAN has taken the time to define 327 of these that collectively make up pretty much what any bank would need to operate, right? Covering everything from your products, your channels, your customer, your supporting functions, etc. So, to me, it's an amazing framework and content and reference architecture to basically just radically simplify your architecture, right? Moving away from large monolith, moving away from stovepipe systems, moving away from spaghetti APIs, and towards something that is agreed upon by everyone. So it simplifies your interoperability. It's stable, so it doesn't keep chopping and changing, because as Mamta said, it defines what you want to do, not how you do it. And fundamentally, it's an amazing foundation for digital transformation, for simplification, for open banking, and lots more, which we'll get into a little bit later in this session.